When I was a kid, I had the opportunity to put a random piece of food in my mouth. And if you know me at all, you won't be surprised to learn that I did. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Life with LAM, where we talk about how to make small changes that have big impacts. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and please make sure that you click those like and subscribe buttons. Continuing in the spirit of the new year, out with the old and in with the new, today we're going to be talking about how to deal with the past. If you feel like you're stuck in the past and just can't move forward, then this is the video for you. And at the end of the video, we'll be going over some quick tips on how to turn even the worst experiences into the best teacher. Sound good? Let's go. The ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu once said, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. Now, before we go any further, let's just be clear that Lao Tzu didn't speak English, so this is obviously a translation. And I'm pretty sure that the concept of clinical depression and anxiety didn't exist back then the way it does today, so that's definitely not what we're talking about in this video. Having said that, if you are experiencing depression or anxiety, please talk to someone. You are not alone, and the strongest and bravest thing you can do is to ask for help. Now, back to the quote, let's break it down a little bit and see what it seems to be saying about the past. Lao Tzu ties depression to a focus on the past, and it's not too difficult to understand why. If you're living in the past, it means that all of your attention is focused on what has already happened, and unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. The past is the past, and no matter how terrible or painful or traumatizing it was, there's really nothing we can do to change the fact that it happened. If we focus all of our attention and energy on the unchangeable, it's not hard to see how we can be driven to a very negative state of mind. But that doesn't mean that the past is all bad or that it needs to be avoided. In fact, avoiding the past completely is arguably even more harmful than fixating on it. Story time. When I was a kid, I had the opportunity to put a random piece of food in my mouth. And if you know me at all, you won't be surprised to learn that I did. And in case you're wondering, that food turned out to be a chili pepper sitting in a bowl of oil that my mother had told me earlier not to eat. Ah, forbidden fruit. Literally. I'll always remember the burning sensation in my mouth, and even now, I'm not a big fan of spice. But that wasn't even the worst part. See, as I've told you before, I've never been the type of person to hide my tears. I am a proud crier. Cried 3 separate times during Big Hero 6. Don't worry, no spoilers. So my mouth is burning and I'm crying, and like many young children do when they're crying, I started rubbing at my eyeballs with my hands. The same hands that I had just dunked into a bowl of chili pepper oil. I don't think that I need to describe how the rest of that event went. Now, being the incredibly wise person that I am, since that day, I have never rubbed chili pepper oil into my eyes again. But why not? Is it because of my supreme intellect? My amazing ability to tell the difference between right and wrong? Of course not. I just learned from experience. And that's kind of the issue here. Because while there's nothing we can do to change the past is also pretty much the best teacher that you'll ever have. Every lesson that you've ever learned, everything that you know because of the past. And I know some of you are thinking, okay, Lam, I feel like you're sending out a lot of mixed messages here. I just want to know, past, good or bad? And the truth is that it's neither. Or it's both. I guess it depends how you look at it. Like almost everything else in life, the past is just a thing, and we get to decide how we respond to it, whether it's good or bad. See, the past is like that teacher that teaches you a lot of valuable lessons, but doesn't really seem to care about you at all. Is that teacher a good teacher or a bad teacher? Well, it depends. If the only thing that you can focus on is the fact that that teacher isn't always praising you and making you feel special, then you can argue that that teacher is a terrible teacher and that they've ruined your school experience, tainted your relationship with education, whatever you want. On the other hand, if you focus on the fact that that teacher is providing you with countless learning opportunities, then a case could also be made that that teacher is actually a great teacher and that he has made it possible for you to grow and improve. See, if you only focus on the negative things that happened in your past, if you fixate on them to the point that they damage your relationships with yourself and with others, limit your ability to move forward, then your past will undoubtedly be a source of a lot of unhappiness. It's like the story of spilt milk. Sometimes crappy things happen and that sucks, but what can you do about it? You can't go back in time, you can't unspill the milk, and sitting there with tears in your eyes isn't going to clean up the mess. If we live in the past, fixating on, if only I hadn't gotten a glass of milk today, or if only I wasn't so clumsy, then we get stuck in this cycle of negativity. And worse, if all we're doing is thinking about what should have happened, we never learn from our mistakes to make sure it never happens again. See, the past really comes in handy if we learn to use it as a growth opportunity. I mean, how do we make sure that we don't spill that milk again? Keep the glass further from the edge of the table, be more aware of our surroundings. Whatever it is, if you can see past the bad experiences and find the lessons that lie underneath, you'll find that your relationship with the past is actually one of your most precious relationships. So, okay, I get it. I can't let what's happened get in the way of what I need to learn. But first, how do I deal with the past? Well, I'm glad you asked. Tip number 1, be a good student. If the past is trying to teach you something, then learn it, do the homework, ace the test. Don't be that person who makes the same mistake over and over again. Your life is yours to live, and you can make it as wonderful as you want, but only if you're not wasting all of your time dealing with the same issues. Bad things happen, and that sucks, but you have to do your part to make sure that they never happen again. Tip number 2, be thankful. Now this one might seem like it's coming out of left field a little bit, but hear me out. Whatever your history, whatever terrible things have happened, every experience has led you here to who you are now. Every relationship that you have, every opportunity, every single thing that makes you smile grew out of your past. So when you do inevitably think about the past, be thankful for every hardship because it played a part in molding you into who you are now. Tip number 3, focus on the now. The past is gone, but the present is right in front of you to be enjoyed. Every second that you spend fixating on the past is a second that you lose in the present, and there are so many things to appreciate. Like I said, there's a lot to learn from the past, but once you've learned it, it's time to move on. Put those memories on the shelf, take the lessons that you've learned and apply them to your life now. Enjoy your life as it happens. Otherwise, before you know it, life will have passed you by, and once again, all you'll have are memories of the past. So there you have it, how to deal with the past. Next week, we'll be talking about how to deal with the future, so make sure you turn on that notification bell. And in the meantime, come hang out with me Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. for Live with LAM. And of course, if you want to support this channel, then please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. Be good, and let's make today an awesome day. Take care.